Hello everyone. So this is our F.A.M.E part 2 questions. So I'll be reviewing the answer. So here the question is, political opportunism is on the rise in Indian political climate. Do you think anti-defection law has failed in India? So here the question is about political opportunism. Now it is on a rise. Now we have to answer this question from the view of anti-defection law. Fine. So the answer is, over the past years there have been numerous instances where the political party at the center have tried to destabilize the elected government at the states using the loopholes in the anti-defection law. So this is a perfect intro. Fine. The anti-defection law was introduced by the 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act. In the 10th schedule of the Constitution, it was introduced to curb the tendency among the legislature to switch loyalties from one party to another and facilitate the toppling of regimes and formation of new ones. Fine. So we have given a brief introduction of the anti-defection law. Now the anti-defection law has covered three kinds of scenarios. So here these three things are not required because the question is not asking about anti-defection law in detail. It is saying how political opportunism is on a rise because of the anti-defection law. So we have to put the loopholes. We have to put the loopholes of the anti-defection law. It is not asking to explain the provisions of the anti-defection law. So here we need to take care of the word limit. So here this is absolutely not required. Okay. The law was meant to deal with political opportunism, that is the attempt to maintain political support or political influence in many ways regarded as unethical. However, due to loopholes, so here comes the question or the demand of the question which is asked. So loopholes present in it has acted as a catalyst for the opportunism. Okay. The law has failed miserably to serve its purpose due to the following. So here comes the demand of the question. The answer, the content starts from here. The law allows 2/3 of the members of the legislature party to defy the party leadership. Correct. So we have a provision of 2/3. So it can happen. So if you like there's a merger of 2/3, so there will be no anti-defection law, and this is misused like anything. Okay, this provision. Second, a member shall not be disqualified if its party merges with other party. So these 2 points we can club it. We have to club these 2 points. It is not required because every point should be different from each other. So these two are one thing. Second, this delay in disqualification of legislator by the speaker. Delay means we need to mention because there is no time limit mentioned. In the constitution, there is no time limit for the speaker to decide on anti-defection law. The inadequate advantage taken by the political parties of the loopholes in the law have endangered democracy in India. Now this is not required. We have already mentioned it is repetition. We have already mentioned it is not good. Okay, so this statement is not required because we are unnecessarily taking up words. Because the question is we have to maintain the word limit. So here what happens is the answers is only 2 points of it. This is 1 point and this is 1 point. We also need to write another point. The third point is that is the speaker's bias towards his political party. The speaker may not be an MP. He is not an MP because he has left his MP seat. But still he is part of that political party, so that bias will always be there. And this is also a major loophole in the anti-defection law. And that is the reason why the political opportunism is on an increase since some years. Fine. Next. So some measures are given below. The decision of a defection should be made by a special tribunal. Now you are mentioning special tribunal. Fine. But you have to mention who said this. This has said the Supreme Court in a recent judgment, that is the Megha Chandra Singh case, that is Keshav Megha Chandra case in 2020. You have to mention the Supreme Court or the judicial pronouncement any case or any question in particular to GS2 of polity, we need to write the constitutional provision, we need to write the judicial provision also. So this is the recent judicial provision where the Supreme Court said the decision of this defection should not be given to the speaker, rather it should be given through an independent tribunal. Okay. Second point is discouraging political parties and encouraging defection. Now discouraging you have written. Now how to discourage? You simply can't write discouraging. You have to give a solution. You have to give solution. So for that we need to have proper laws. We need to amend the Anti-Defection Act and give some solutions. This is one of the solutions which is given by Supreme Court. Need to fix loopholes of the law. Now, need to fix loopholes of the what loopholes? You have to give answers. Loopholes we all know. You have mentioned the loopholes, but need to fix loopholes means what? So here you have to write proper or a fixed time limit. Or a fixed time limit. Or you can also give an innovative solution, that is, you can have a committee where 3 members will be there: PM, CGI and leader of opposition, who will take care of the anti-defection cases. Now here the leader of opposition is there. So here you are writing one problem, that is the speaker's bias to his political party. So this problem can be solved if you give this solution, because here the leader of opposition will also be there, the CGI will also be there. So there are very less chances that there will be bias. So this also you can write in an innovative way. So the recent decision of the Supreme Court, so you have to write the case name. You have to write the case name, places time limit on the speaker of 3 months to decide on defection. This is a step in right direction. So this is the way you have to write a proper answer, so that you have to be in word limit, plus you need to have the right content. Fine. Coming to the second question. Now the second question is regarding a new political representation in India is taking place, leading to the death of pluralism and secular credentials. Discuss the statement in the light of majoritarian politics. So here 2 words are keyword here. What is pluralism and one is secular credentials. Now you have to mention this, how there is death of these 2 credentials through the light of majoritarianism or majoritarian politics. So majoritarianism is a traditional political agenda that asserts that a majority sects of the population is entitled to a certain degree of primacy in society and has a right to make decisions that affect the society. Fine. So here you have mentioned about majoritarianism, so it will be better in intro if also you give one line on what is pluralism and what is secular. What is secularism? One line on pluralism and 1 line on secularism. So it will look like in a holistic manner. There has been a visible shift towards majoritarian politics and sectarianism in India. This can be seen from the following. Okay. Promotion of Hindutva ideology that declares India as a fundamentally Hindu country. Okay. So here you have to write some leaders, not all. You have to write some leaders promoting this, which is completely degrades the secular credentials. Second, implementation of NRC, Citizenship Amendment Act, in which Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, Sikhs and Christians escaping prosecution shall be given citizenship in India. See, this is very controversial. You should avoid. Do not use controversial thing. Because every act or every law has positives and negatives. We can't simply come here and say that this particular implementation is against the secular credentials. No, you should not write this point, at least in this particular question. Demolishing Babri Masjid and construction of Ram Mandir. No, totally. It means you are showing your ideology here. Do not show your ideology. Demolishing Babri Masjid, and it was done by Supreme Court, and Supreme Court is the top judiciary. The verdict is already done. You can't simply write demolishing Babri Masjid and construction of Ram Mandir. Supreme Court said it. Supreme Court had those the trials were happening, and finally it came to a point where it did the judgment. So you should not write these all points. Your points should be balanced. You cannot simply take one side, because after all you are a bureaucrat. You will be a bureaucrat. Your answer should always be balanced. And that too, here you are completely challenging Supreme Court. You should not challenge the Supreme Court, because the verdict has already happened. Okay, fine. Imposition of Hindi language through one. This you can write. You are imposing one language, so it is against the pluralistic. It is against the pluralistic flavor of our country, because you are imposing, because Hindi is not a official language either. Now imposing Hindi language is against the pluralistic credentials. This is a good point. India has recorded the highest number of internet shutdowns. Now this point, like, for what? You have not mentioned any kind of reason. Suddenly you are coming and writing internet shutdowns. For what? You have to mention why it was there, why. Like, it is a half-baked sentence. It will not fetch you marks. Okay, so here you can write about different kinds of other points, like leaders. Some leaders are giving hate speeches. Okay, you can also write about cow vigilantism is also happening. Or you can say this mob lynching, targeting a particular community, So in a way, this is hampering our secular credentials. So this point should not be written here. Though the Constitution of India declares India as a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, India is moving towards a new political representative, leading to the death of pluralism and secular credentials. Yes, this is as a conclusion you have written, but you have not mentioned enough justification of these points, which should be written over here. So these are the points you should add. Okay. It is high time to look for ways that can reinstate India of the dreams of Gandhi, Gandhiji, Nehruji and Ambedkarji. Okay. Some of the steps which can be taken are: adopt the 3-language formula, which provides for learning of Hindi, English and a South Indian language. Don't use South, use regional language. Okay. Again, you are using the South Indian language, means you are against pluralism. It's completely against the question. The question is pluralism and you are again using the word South. You should not use the word regional. Caste-based politics and religion-based politics should be discouraged. How? How it should be discouraged? How? You have to mention. For example, religion-based politics can be discouraged if you through stringent implementation of RPA Act. In RPA Act, there is a provision you should not use religion in campaigning, in election campaigning. There is a provision, but no stringent implementation. So stringently it should be implemented. Caste-based politics can only be reduced only through moral and ethical leaders. It is the leader who need to take a front step or an initiative. Like, for example, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Now it's a big success because this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was promoted by our PM on a national level. On a national level, it was promoted, and it in a way changed our mindset. It changed our mindset. So the same thing should happen here. This caste-based politics, our mind is people's mind should be changed. The mindset should be changed. It can be only changed when there are moral and ethical leaders. They should take the first step. Efforts should be made to curb communalism. Now how? You are simply giving, they should be made, but how they can be made? You have to write one line. They can be made again through proper discussion before any kind of law which is sensitive. Proper discussion with all religious leaders. Okay, proper discussion with all religious leaders. So various kinds of things you can write. The police also needs to be very vigilant, and they need to have a good community policing. So all these things you can write here. To conclude, it can be said that one must always remember that there is no pride to hold in the suppression and oppression, but all concerned must collectively fight to uphold. Fine. So this is the way you have to enrich your answer, because you simply in way forward you can't direct. The point is, the points you have written, it is more of a directive in nature. Like you are directing, but you are not giving solutions. So in mains, because you will be a bureaucrat, you have to give proper or innovative solutions. Always solutions. If you are giving problems, you have to also give solutions. These are not solutions. Fine, adopt the 3-language formula is a solution, but caste-based politics should be discouraged. How? Where is the solution? Effort should be made to curb communalism. How? Where is the solution? So you have to give all these solutions. Okay. To uphold constitutional values and principles against oppressive policies of majoritarianism, which must be condemned at all cost. Fine. So this is the way you have to write a mains answer. Okay. Thank you.